Hello friends, it's Ms. Melissa here with this week's Trailblazers. If you notice, I'm wearing a cool hat this week. I'll take it off my head here and show you. Do you know who wears hats that look like this? Yeah, you're right. It's leprechauns. This is a leprechaun hat that Miss Melissa is wearing. And I'm wearing it because this week we are celebrating the holiday St. Patrick's Day. You may have heard about St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is named after a man named Patrick. He is the patron saint of a country called Ireland. And Ireland is where the leprechauns live. So St. Patrick has a couple of folklore stories about him, but one story about St. Patrick is that he is the reason there are no snakes in the country of Ireland. Another story that we've heard about are these guys here, the leprechauns. Leprechauns are short, mythical creatures. And I say mythical because it means that we're not sure if they're actually real. The leprechauns are short people from Ireland. They love the color green and they love gold. Do you know where a leprechaun keeps their gold? They have to keep it safe from everybody so it doesn't get stolen. Do you know where they keep it? Yeah, they keep it at the end of the rainbow. So they say if you see a rainbow in the sky, if you can find the end of it, you'll find the leprechaun's pot of gold. But here's the thing about leprechauns, though. They don't want you to find their pot of gold. So they're going to do all kinds of sneaky things to try to not have you find that gold. And sometimes leprechauns, they're everywhere, but you can't always see them. So we're going to read some stories today about leprechauns. I'll start with the first one. It is called That's What Leprechauns Do. And oh my goodness, we've got leprechauns here on the front cover, and they're kind of dressed silly, aren't they? Now, have you noticed all these leprechauns? They have orange beards on their faces, and they have orange hair. That's because orange hair, or sometimes people call it red hair, but red or orange hair is something that people in Ireland often have, including leprechauns. Notice how the leprechauns are wearing the color green? Green is their special color. I've been told that if on St. Patrick's Day you don't wear green, these guys will sneak up on you and they'll pinch you. So you better make sure on St. Patrick's Day that you wear the color green. So let's find out what leprechauns do. This story is by Eve Bunting. So Eve is the author. And it's illustrated by Emily Arnold McCulley. Emily made the picture, so she's the illustrator. And something interesting that I noticed, the author's last name is McCulley. It has an MC in the beginning. An MC is a set of letters that often comes in the beginning of Irish people's last names. A lot of times Irish people, their last names either start with MC, Mick, or they start with O, like O'Leary. So that's what leprechauns do. The three leprechauns sat under the chestnut tree. Ari looked up at the cloud-filled sky. "It's coming," he said, "and there's work to be done." Boo and Cole put on their red shoes and their caps and strapped their packs to their backs. "We're ready," Boo said. "But why is it always us that has to put the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Especially since not a single soul ever finds it," Cole added. Ari looked from one of them to the other. "Don't be asking," he said. "It's leprechaun duty, so it is. And fellows, remember, it's coming. So there'll be no time for mischief along the way." They walked in line, the one in front of the other one behind. "No mischief along the way," they chanted. "What do you think is coming?" "They're going to be hiding a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow," they said. "What do you think they're getting ready for?" But when they got to Ballybunion Farm, they saw Mrs. Ballybunion's cow, Pansy, standing in the field. Ari whipped out the little bottle of red paint he kept in his backpack for leprechaun business. He ran across to Pansy. "Stand still, my lovely," he told her, and he painted her hooves scarlet red. That's crazy. He's painting the cow's hooves. Remember, hooves are their feet. Painting their feet red. Sounds like they're up to a little mischief, aren't they? We call that mischievous when they're up to mischief. Mischief is all kinds of weird, bad things. And we call them mischievous when they're up to mischief. I've heard that leprechauns can be a little mischievous. Pansy the cow looked down. "Pretty," she said. "Imagine Mrs. Bully Bunion's face when she comes to milk you," Ari shouted. He and Boo and Cole rolled over and over in the grass, laughing. "She'll think I've been to a dance." Pansy did a couple of small hop and steps to demonstrate. The leprechauns clapped and whistled. "We'll be delighted to join you in a waltz or two," Ari exclaimed. "But we're in a desperate hurry." "I thought there was to be no mischief along the way," Boo reminded him. "And here, look at Pansy's feet, her hooves. And they're getting into mischief, aren't they? Those crazy leprechauns. They're so mischievous." "Oh, sure, but I couldn't help myself. Mischief is what us leprechauns do," Ari said, "along with our more important duties." He glanced up at the tatters of clouds in the sky. "And we'd better not delay, for we've delayed enough already." But as they were passing old Jamie Bradley's house, they saw Jamie's gray woolen long johns spread out to dry on his hawthorn hedge. Long johns are like underwear, except they have long legs in them. You can see the long johns there on the hedge. And I don't know. What do you think they're thinking about when they saw the long johns? Do you think they're going to create more mischief? The leprechauns looked at each other and they grinned. Quick as a cat pounce, they ran across to the hedge and stood one on top of the other and the other on top of him. Ari reached up and tied the two long john legs together in a tight knot. They almost fell off each other. They laughed so hard. "It would be great all together to stay and watch old Jamie try putting his legs into those," Boo said. "But it will be a month of Sundays before they're dry, and we've no time to waste." There they are, stacked one on top of the other, tying the knot in those long johns. They're so mischievous. They took a few minutes to somersault across Liam McGabe's garden. There was a yellow tennis ball in the middle of the road, and they rolled it along with them as they went. Miss Maud Murphy's hen, Bridie, clucked at them from behind her gate. "Bridie," Ari said, "would you be doing us a favor? Could we trundle this ball up to your nest, and could you sit on it for us? It'll be a great joke on Miss Maud Murphy when she comes out to gather your eggs." So it's a yellow tennis ball. Now, I think of tennis balls as being kind of small, right? But this looks like a really large ball. Is it that the ball is really large? Or could it be that the leprechauns are kind of small? I think it might be that the leprechauns are small. And so the ball looks really big. I guess they're going to use it as a chicken egg. They're so mischievous. Bridie put her head to the side. "It's not going to be easy sitting on that. But the three of you were so good to me, scaring that fox away from my hen house last night. I'll do it." Cole stretched up and patted her wing. "Thank you, Bridie." They squeezed themselves through the gate and tumbled the ball with them. Then they heaved it up and into Bridie's nest. She gave a trial sit on it. "I'll be sore underneath myself for a week," she grumbled. "But the thought of Miss Maud Murphy's face when she sees I've laid a yellow ball will be so worth it." "Won't that beat all?" Cole gasped. The three of you can't help making mischief, can you, Bridie asked. That's what leprechauns do, Ari told her, along with our more important duties. What do you think the more important duties are? Yeah, putting that pot of gold under the rainbow, I agree. Ari stopped. Is that a spitting of wet I feel? It is. Boo stared up at the sky, where the sun was flickering through heavy clouds. A thin, cool rain had started to fall. Hurry, hurry, Ari ordered. It's come. We can't be late. They pulled their green slickers from their backpack and settled their caps low to their ears. So maybe they're trying to get ahead of the rain. I thought maybe it was St. Patrick's Day coming. But it's actually the rain. Makes sense. Rainbows always come after it rains, right? So if they have to hide their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but we only get rainbows after it rains, they have to wait for the rain before they can find the rainbow to put their gold in. Anybody seeing them racing along the road would have taken them for 3 green leaves. But they were leprechauns and they had work to do. Get them out, boyos. Get them ready, Ari said. They took their little spades from their backpacks. Then they stopped for a minute to look up at the rainbow. It was blue and green and yellow and pink, and it was arched across half the sky. There it is, Ari said with satisfaction. Come on. The rainbow has appeared. They dashed across Patty Whacker's bog, found the place where they kept the pot of gold buried for just such a rainbow occasion, and they dug it up. Ari stood in the middle of the bog. Here, he said. The three of them placed the pot of glittering gold in just the right spot and watched the rainbow curve itself all the way down till it ended on top of the pot. Looks like a magical pot of gold, doesn't it? The leprechauns settled themselves to wait. They tootled some grass stalk music, threw raindrops at each other, and ate the rose hips they brought for snacks. They waited long, but nobody came. Once again, nobody came. You'd think somebody would find it, Cole complained. Somebody will. Someday, Ari said. Maybe we should put up a sign, Boo suggested. Pot of gold this way. No, Ari said. That's not how it's done. There's a bit of magic to finding, and a bit of luck, and a bit of imagination, too. That gold's waiting for just the right person. The rain had stopped. The sun went behind a cloud. The rainbow shortened itself, and then it disappeared. No use waiting any longer. Cole took off his cap and wrung the wet out of it. If we hurry, we could be in time to see Miss Maud Murphy discover Bridie's big yellow egg, he said. Boo laughed. Won't that be a great thing to see? All right then, Ari said. We'll put a rush on this. They buried the pot again in its usual place. Ari patted the smooth down bog dirt. Don't worry, Pot, he whispered. We'll be back to get you on the next rainbow day. Now we're off again to see what new mischief we can find. For besides our important duties, that's what leprechauns do. This picture has no words on it, but you need to see what happens in it. That must be Miss Maud finding the yellow ball egg under Bridie. There is a little back here in the back of the book. This isn't part of the story, but it has information about leprechauns I thought you might find interesting. So I'll read it to you. It says, according to legend, the leprechaun is a tiny elf found only in Ireland. Most leprechauns are shoemakers to the fairies, who pay them gold for their work. The leprechauns, or little people, store their gold in pots and often bury one at the end of the rainbow. Since leprechauns love more than anything to play tricks, This may just be another one. The gold at the end of the rainbow has not been discovered yet. But if you find a leprechaun and pick him up, he must tell you where his gold is hidden. That is leprechaun law. So if you can find the leprechaun, he has to tell you where it is. Look for leprechauns in Ireland, near clear springs of water, or close to large rock formations, or at the end of the rainbow. Listen for the sound of tiny hammers tapping, or elfin pipes piping, as small voices sing a fairy song. And maybe, just maybe, you will find the leprechaun's pot of gold. So if we find a leprechaun, you should be able to pick him up, and he has to tell you where his gold is. The thing is leprechauns are kind of sneaky. They're not always easy to find. They're really, really fast, and they're really, really small. Maybe you've heard of somebody building a trap for the leprechaun. You know, sometimes when we have like a mouse in our house, we might set a mouse trap. What if you want to find a leprechaun in your house? Should you set a leprechaun trap to trap him? That might be a really good idea. Then if you can trap the leprechaun, get him in your trap, then you'll find him, you'll be able to pick him up and have him tell you where his gold is, and then you'll be rich. What do you think? Have you ever built a leprechaun trap before? No? Yes? Maybe? Well, I have a story about building a leprechaun trap. There are all kinds of ways to build a leprechaun trap. One of the first things that you have to have when you go to build a leprechaun trap is you have to have what's called bait. So it's something that kind of makes the leprechaun want to go into your trap. If there's nothing there that the leprechaun wants, then he won't go into your trap. And I thought, since we're kind of thinking about leprechaun traps, I thought it might be kind of cool to read this story here. It's called How to Catch a Leprechaun. And it talks about some of the things that you need in order to build a trap for a leprechaun. Let's find out what they do here to try to catch it. So this is words by Adam Wallace. So that means he's the author. Pictures by Andy Elkerton. So he did the picture, so he's called the illustrator. You got it. So how to catch a leprechaun. The night is dark. The streets are quiet. St. Patrick's Day is near. I tap my hammer so you'll know the leprechaun is here. I'll pull out all your laces and put glitter in your hair. And when you walk around, you'll see my gold coins everywhere. So look at this poor boy. Try to put his shoes on and his shoelaces are gone. And the girl has glitter in her hair. Sounds like those mischievous leprechauns that we just read about. They do all kinds of mischief on St. Patrick's Day. You'll never catch me in your trap, but yes, I'll make a scene. I'll turn the whole place upside down and your toilet will be green. Ugh. They really messed up this room, those leprechauns, didn't they? House number 1, I'm going in. Really? That's your trap? I'm in and out without a doubt. That one was a snap. So here's a trap that they set at the first house the leprechaun went into. Looks a little bit like a mouse trap, doesn't it? Guess the leprechaun was too smart though. Didn't catch him. And now I think it's getting worse. A shoebox on a stick? I'll dance a jig and still escape. We leprechauns are quick. Another house. Guess what? I fixed your shoes. They really were quite smelly. I'll eat the nuts you left as bait and leave with a full belly. Check out this trap. But still we didn't catch the leprechaun. He's pretty sneaky. Now you're talking. Look at this, it's dandelion tea. But I'm too speedy for your trap. This tea is mine for free. So I guess the dandelion tea was the bait. But still, didn't catch him. I know you want my pot of gold. That iron cage was clever, but I've been alive for 200 years. You won't catch me ever. So they put up an iron cage to catch the leprechaun. Didn't catch a leprechaun though. Looks like it caught the person who set the trap in the first place. He's so sneaky. Ha 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 ha. Now you're getting fancy. But I'll escape with twinkle toes. It's a fancy pantsy dancy. Looks like that little girl's trying to make a slingshot out of her unicorn there. Still, we didn't catch him. It seems to me an engineer has helped with this design. Too bad, this little leprechaun is going to be just fine. That one was like a really crazy trap. Still didn't get him though. Your entire house is one big trap. From the ceiling to the floor. Nice try indeed, but soon enough, I'll stroll right out the door. Look at this whole house. Traps in every room. But even a whole booby-trapped house can't catch this leprechaun. The leprechaun be gone 3,000. It gave me quite a scare. But without a 4-leaf clover, I won't be caught in there. The trap's just getting more and more crazy and elaborate. You'll never catch this leprechaun. Impossible, that's a fact. Unless one day a brilliant child designs the perfect trap. But who will that child be? Any of those kids? Maybe it's you. And here he says, better luck next year. So I guess it wasn't any of those kids that we saw in that previous picture, but maybe it'll be you. Maybe this St. Patrick's Day, you'll build the perfect trap and you'll catch the leprechaun. All right, boys and girls, our story time is almost over. One last thing I wanted to show you. I'm gonna take my hat off here. You will find all the things in your activity kit that I sent home to make this leprechaun hat yourself. I love this one because it even has the orange beard. Remember how we said a lot of Irish people have orange hair and orange beards? So I have all the things inside the kit that I sent home with you to make this, okay? And the instructions are on the outside. Basically, you're just gonna wanna take the paper plate that's in there and cut the inside out. I put some paint inside, and you can use the paint to paint the paper plate once you have the inside cut out. Okay, and then you'll have to use scissors to cut the hat, and then cut the inside of the yellow square out. Glue it all together, and you can look like a leprechaun too. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoy our stories about St. Patrick's Day and about the leprechauns. Good luck trying to catch one. Maybe next week, one of you will have a story to tell me about the leprechaun and how you found the pot of gold. Don't forget to wear green on St. Patrick's Day too, because on St. Patrick's Day, if you're not wearing green, those leprechauns will come out and they'll pinch you. And they're sneaky. You won't see them do it. They'll come out of nowhere. So make sure you wear your green on St. Patrick's Day. That'll keep you safe from those leprechauns. All right, boys and girls, until next week, I'll see you later. Bye.